The brat immediately charged forward, demanding a fight. Palace master, Pahar, that is so laughable it makes my teeth fall out. How dare a mere 5-star martial venerable act so wildly. The person in charge rushed down and threw a punch, infuriated by Lai Yingxiao's arrogant expression, determined to teach him a lesson he'd never forget. Lai Yingxiao spun around as lightly as the wind, using a bizarre posture to dodge the punch, then his feet moved slightly as if he were skipping. His right hand suddenly flashed with light, his entire fist turning golden, and he unexpectedly launched a punch. The face of the person in charge took the full force of the punch, his teeth shattered completely as his upper body plunged straight into the ground, looking exactly like an inverted tree. The person was stuck headfirst in the ground. This area was a transmission zone, and the ground was made of extremely hard level 6 material, yet he was still pushed deep into the ground for several dozens of meters. This scene left everyone around stunned. No one dared to believe their eyes, all displaying looks of horror. The swole, nimble old man also contracted his pupils, his expression turning serious as he wondered what to calculate next. I have urgent business and need to cut in line. You guys don't have a problem with that, do you? Lai Yingxiao turned to ask another person in charge. His voice was light, but his eyes were cold as ice. A single glance was enough to send shivers down one's spine. No, we don't have any problem at all. The person trembled so much his teeth chattered, forcing out a smile. If you have urgent business, going first is only right. Lai Yingxiao looked over at Luo Yunqing and Ding Ling gesturing for the two women to step onto the teleportation array. The two women felt pain in their hearts, experiencing a bit of reluctance as they slowly stepped onto the array as if unwilling to leave. The array formation beneath their feet began to operate, and light gradually flared up. Lai Yingxiao waved his hand and said with a smile, "Hurry up and go. Take care of yourselves on the journey ahead, and remember to protect yourselves well." The two women suppressed their emotions, not wanting to show sorrow from parting, and quietly said, "You too, dumb Master Yun, take care." Still trying to run. Stop right there. Suddenly, a roar echoed from the sky. A stream of blood light charged down towards the teleportation array. Lai Yingxiao's face fell. This guy wasn't dead yet. He immediately performed instantaneous movement, peering right above the teleportation array. The heavenly Ordum Sunder blade appeared in his hand, sucking away all his vital energy in an instant. The blade strike slashed horizontally across the sky. A cold light flashed, and it fiercely collided with the blood light. Ding Ling and Luo Yunqing were extremely terrified, but at that exact moment, their figures gradually faded as the spatial tunnel opened. Lai Yingxiao quietly said, "Just get to your destination safely. Don't look back. I'll be fine." He was afraid that if the two women turned back, things would become even more troublesome. The two women understood the situation and shaded a reassured smile before gradually disappearing within the transmission light. Lai Yingxiao descended, chasing after the figure. The person who had just arrived was the Bloodgut Sun. His attack earlier had only aimed to destroy the array. Because of this, he hadn't exerted full strength, which allowed Lai Yingxiao to seize the opportunity to attack him. He secretly calculated in his heart that after the blow from the veteran emperor, the opponent hadn't fully recovered, so he could still risk a fight. The Bloodgut Sun stared at him coldly, speaking in a deep voice. "Lai Yingxiao, I see you possess great talent. You could become a hero of a region, an overlord of a domain in the future. I am reluctant to see you die young. Just hand over the blood beast and the jade tablet, and I will spare your life." Lai Yingxiao sneered in reply. "Are you talking about this jade tablet?" He raised his right hand and threw out the World God tablet. The great earth force immediately compressed the surrounding space, pushing towards the Blood God Sun. The great earth breathing soul startled the opponent. He immediately suspected that this anomaly was created by the breathing soil inside the blood beast. A surging sea of blood rose, and a demonic claw seemed about to descend. A fierce light erupted in the Blood God Sun's eyes, spreading everywhere with him as the epicenter. A sea of blood shot out in all directions, transforming in an instant into a giant blood claw that fiercely grabbed down at the God tablet. The God tablet shook violently, but instead of breaking free, it was forced to contract. Lai Yingxiao lightly pointed a finger, and the heavenly sword in the air immediately transformed, instantly surrounding the Blood God Sun. Streams of sword energy flew erratically like a drunkard, then unexpectedly stepped straight into a vital point from the cell. The blood claw, which had been struggling to resist the divine steel, was instantly shattered, like rice paper dissolving in water. The Blood God Sun's pupils constricted as the powerful force of the earth transformed into innumerable layers of gravity pressing down. Even he couldn't push it away, and could only stare blankly as the divine steel crashed heavily onto the ground with a resounding thud. The Northern Heaven Cold Star swords returned to Lai Yingxiao's side, forming a tight defensive sword formation. Looking from afar, the Blood God Sun reappeared, with his superb blood movement technique. Dodging the divine steel was no different than dodging rain for him. The two fought as fast as lightning, but in everyone's eyes, the Blood God Sun was being pressured into a disadvantage. Everyone stared in disbelief, wondering how a mighty 6-star martial emperor could be cornered like this. The Blood God Sun snorted coldly, raised his hand, and absorbed the martial artist who had just opened his mouth. He absorbed them completely as easily as drinking water. He was extremely alarmed in his heart, thinking that the auras emanating from those swords were no weaker than his heavenly master giant ruler. Could they all be level 9 profound artifacts? And there were still 2 martial emperors inside the steel. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. Therefore, he said, "This is an important teleportation area. Do you dare change locations and fight me elsewhere? There are some things you probably don't want to reveal." Lai Yingxiao retracted the divine steel, thought for a moment, and nodded. "All right, I'll comply with your wishes." The Blood God Sun didn't say another word, turning into a streak of blood, red light and flying away. Lai Yingxiao immediately followed, thinking, if I don't fight him today, I won't be able to rest easy. The two flew for thousands of miles before stopping in a desolate area, standing opposite each other. The Blood God Sun began probing. Your identity makes me curious. So many powerful profound artifacts, plus 2 martial emperors following you, and a super, great profound artifact as well. The world is vast, yet your origin remains hard to guess. Lai Yingxiao smiled faintly and said, if I were from a reclusive noble family, would you let me go? The blood godson replied with a cold laugh, of course not. Today, no one can save you. Lai Yingxiao mocked, then why bother asking? Let us just fight and finish this. As soon as he finished speaking, Mo Xiaochuan and Helian Shaohuan stepped out. Helian Shaohuan smiled and said, senior brother, remember to keep your eyes open. Last time you were ambushed. Mo Xiaochuan drew his cursed heaven demon sword and said coldly, this time, I'll several accounts, including the principal and interest. The blood godson growled lightly, activated his blood shadow technique, and his body instantly split into three. The three clones simultaneously rushed toward the three individuals, moving fast as lightning, almost like blood teleportation. Their power levels were distributed based on the strength of their opponents. Lai Yingxiao's spiritual sense was extremely strong. He reacted instantly, transforming his body into a streak of lightning to dodge aside. Don't he dream of escaping? The blood godson raised his hand to suppress with emperor energy, and the sky under his aura gradually turned blood red. It immediately enclosed Lai Yingxiao tightly. His hands continuously formed seals, throwing streams of blood seals into the enclosure. He continuously used his blood power to refine Lai Yingxiao into ashes. Is this child's play? Lai Yingxiao mocked as he immediately punched a hole through the blood prison. He worked out calmly, completely unharmed. The world divine steel in his hand flashed continuously. He smiled and said, Emperor energy can suppress all things, but it yields to the world force of a super, brave profound artifact. Lai Yingxiao looked at his body, startled in his heart. The rebound just now had caused a subtle, almost imperceptible improvement in his physique. Could it be that the hegemon heaven body refinement technique only advances through continuous combat? The blood godson was also stunned, finding this strange body phenomenon similar to the legendary hegemon heaven martial emperor as cultivation method. Suddenly, he opened his eyes wide, staring ahead as if he had seen a ghost. He saw that as soon as Lai Yingxiao circulated his source energy, the suppressed demonic energy immediately surged up, spreading wildly and causing his body to undergo gradual demonization. The blood godson looked overjoyed and laughed loudly. So it is demonization. You are just a demon slave. I thought you were very tough, but in the end, you bowed down to the demon race to become stronger. Parhar. His laughter abruptly stopped as he felt a hot brine on his forehead. His entire body trembled as he said, what is happening? How can this be? Lai Yingxiao's body was covered in black demonic patterns, and his complexion gradually darkened like the night, revealing a ruthless expression. He chuckled softly and said, you are completely wrong. The one who became a demon slave is you. True demonic energy once infiltrated your body, and while you could suppress it normally, upon meeting a demon master like me, it was activated. The blood godson's face twisted in distortion, and his entire body trembled violently as he stammered in panic. You, who exactly are you? What are you? The blood godson suddenly roared, immediately turning into a streak of blood, red light and running away without a trace. Lai Yingxiao washed his figure and muttered, oh, you ran so fast. It seems the demonization hasn't fully taken hold yet. At this moment, Archlin Thi led one EBFU Hein flew back, looking bewildered as he said, Van Thi led one EBFU. Why did he run away? And Van Thi led one EBFU. Lai Van Teru's expression was unusually strange. He paid no mind to Archlin Thi led one EBFU Hein, simply snorting softly before saying, what do you mean by pointing your sword at me? And led one EA1CTI led one EC3 U Zion stood behind him. The ice, cold tip of the heaven-purging demon sword pointed directly at his heart, its aura surging. And led one EA1CTI led one EC3 U Zion's voice rang out sternly as he coldly asked, are you truly Van Thi led one EBFU, or are you the demon overlord? Lai Van Teru replied indifferently, your sword energy makes me very uncomfortable, quickly withdraw it, I am naturally your master. Really, why does looking at that face make me want to punch it so much? And led one EA1CTI led one EC3 U Zion immediately darkened his face and was speechless. Exactly, I want to punch him too, Parchlin Thi led one EBFU Hein said, trying to hold back his laughter, because your face genuinely looks unpleasant. Lai Van Teru's expression changed slightly, and he laughed coldly, for now, don't worry about who I am. Do you really dare to strike me? If my heart were to be pierced, Lai Van Teru would die, but the demon overlord would remain perfectly fine. His facial muscles suddenly stiffened, because a sharp pain came from behind him, and led one EA1CTI led one EC3 U Zion's sword had stabbed into him. Less than 1 foot from his heart, the sword emitted waves of energy that made him extremely uncomfortable. He screamed, his face distorted, I am your master, how dare you try to kill me? And led one EA1CTI led one EC3 U Zion replied coldly, I don't like listening to nonsense. I don't know why the sword is called the heaven-purging demon sword, but it should work against a demon like you. If you want to prove your identity, it is simple, take out the EC Moon Pearl. Lai Van Teru trembled slightly, extremely reluctant to take out the EC Moon Pearl. But an impulse in his mind kept urging him. He turned his right hand, and the pearl immediately appeared in his grasp. A halo of light spread from the pearl, initially weak and then gradually strengthening. Lai Van Teru continuously screamed, wanting to throw it away, but found that his hand would not obey him. And led one EA1CTI led one EC3 U Zion withdrew his sword, striking the sword's body hard against his shoulder. A wave of vibrational force spread out, finally suppressing the demonic energy. Lai Van Teru's expression gradually returned to normal, revealing a look of both shock and seriousness. He said in a deep voice, I didn't expect that demon overlord to be so powerful. Although both are demonic energy, the difference is vast. From level to purity, the demon overlord far surpasses an ordinary demon servant. I truly am playing with fire this time. And led one EA1CTI led one EC3 U Zion sheathed his sword with a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the EC Moon Pearl and my sword can counteract it to some extent. I think you should bring Miss Van Th led one B0 led one EDDNG along. Per 9 Yang divine body truly is rare. Lai Van Teru frowned and said, The Nine Yang divine body has countless mystical uses in historical records. Once she reaches great completion, the Dueling demons will require her assistance. My current situation indicates I must quickly find all 24 East Sea Moon pearls. The blood sun has been scared away, so we should retreat quickly. M led 1EA1CT I led 1EC3U Zion and Harchley TH I led 1EBFU Hang immediately entered the world Godsteel. Live Antaru transformed into a beam of light and quickly returned to the transmission portal. When he returned, everyone felt a chill down their spines. The 6-star Martial Emperor, Blood-Sun, had fought with this young man and vanished. No one knew what happened, nor dared to think further. Live Antaru stepped into the transmission array and softly spoke the 3 words, Red Moon City. Yes, yes, the disciple of the Blood God Palace hastily replied, only hoping to quickly send this plague away so things could return to normal. Everyone around them was shaken. They stared blankly at each other and thought, so he was planning to go to Red Moon City. But he'd be someone from there. Thinking about it, it makes sense. Only someone from Red Moon City would be so overbearing. And at a time when they are preparing for a major event, why would he come here to cause trouble for the Blood God Palace? Only a moment later, Live Antaru appeared in a large square. This was the transmission point of Red Moon City, and he raised his head. Looking at the magnificent city before his eyes, a flicker of nostalgia appeared in his gaze, and he sighed softly. So many years have passed, Red Moon City. I have returned to this place once more. Looking up at the high, paying moon, past memories suddenly flooded back into his mind. What are you doing standing there blocking the way? Come over here to get your identity card. A shout rang out, accompanied by sound waves that directly struck Live Antaru's ears. The person who shouted at him wore clothes with the red moon symbol, the insignia of Red Moon City. He shouted loudly, if you don't get a card, then scram immediately. A martial artist standing nearby sneered. This country bumpkin probably rushed here for the second young miss, without even looking at himself in the mirror. Alright then. Live Antaru leisurely advanced towards the line of people. He hadn't come to Red Moon City to cause trouble, and furthermore, if his identity were revealed, he feared that the place most likely to want his life would be Red Moon City itself. While he was standing in line, the young man in green clothes suddenly lightly tapped him on the shoulder from behind. With a mysterious look on his face, he whispered, young man, I see you have extraordinary innate talent. Do you want to try your luck? Just give me one supreme grade primal stone, and these valuable documents are all yours. As he spoke, he laid out several books in front of him, including How to Get to Know QNNH led 1B0 led 1E3C Bang, QNNH led 1B0 led 1E3C Bang's Daily Life Diary, Secret Manual for Pursuing Red Moon City Beauties, and QNNH led 1B0 led 1E3C Bang's Preferences. Live NT looked strangely and wondered, try luck for what? What are these few books for? He looked at the name QNN Hyuk Bang and thought about its connection to QN So Heen. The youth in green glanced at him several times, then scoffed with disdain. He said seriously, such a big event, the whole world knows about it. Could it be that you just came out of seclusion? Live NT nodded quickly. That's right. I just came out of seclusion and happened to come here to buy some materials. The youth in green nodded back. Then I understand. The youth in green continued, the second miss of the QN family in Haningait City is holding a martial arts competition to select a husband. This news was released to the world a month ago. For the past month, talents have flocked here like ants. Hotel room prices have soared 100-fold, especially rooms with cultivation chambers, where the price has risen 1,000-fold. The cheapest costs 10 myriad middle, great spirit stones per night. Live Anti chuckled faintly. There's only one QN family second miss, but people are flocking here like it as a festival. They don't assess themselves properly. Never mind their strength, just their intelligence seems questionable. The QN family certainly wouldn't need this type of person. The youth in green laughed. Everyone holds on to the mentality of trying the luck. Who knows, maybe a cake will fall from the sky and land on the head, even if it doesn't land on them. Watching to see who it hits is entertaining enough. Live Anti waved his hand and hurriedly said, Deadly, bad luck has been clinging to me. I run into trouble wherever I go. I'd better not try my luck, just to be safe. The youth in green raised an eyebrow, appearing to understand, and said with a smile, it seems you are also an experienced expert. These introductory things aren't appealing to you. I have better goods here. He turned his hand and took out 3 more books, Deep Analysis of QNN Yuak Bang's Character, 5, Level Theory and Practice for Dialogue, and Analysis of the 5 Scenic Spots of Haningait City. Live Antu felt dizzy just looking at them and had to take out a supreme, great spirit stone to buy them just to end the discussion. That's more like it. The QN family's second miss meets the standards of white, beautiful, and wealthy. Who wouldn't he be captivated? The youth in green happily put away the spirit stone and disappeared as quickly as smoke. Live Anti went to the card processing station, pondering as he said, I'll just get a temporary card. I'll leave as soon as I finish buying things. The person at the station pointed at a sign and said, input your information and store your divine sense. City residents pay 1,000 middle, braid spirit stones. Outsiders pay 5,000. Live Anti was surprised. 5,000 middle, braid spirit stones for a temporary card. That's outrageously expensive. Normally, city residents pay 200 and outsiders pay 800. Why such a drastic increase now? Many people behind him were also complaining, everyone lamenting the escalating prices, saying that Haningait City's business practices were even more exorbitant than the trading alliance's. The martial artist raised his head and snorted coldly. If you repora, don't come here, this place isn't tea for you. Aren't you here for the second miss? We provide dedicated service and have prepared materials in advance. Don't you think there are costs involved? He threw out several books and said, pay for the card and take these things with you. Live Antu saw exactly the 3 books analyzing QN and Yuak Bang. His face instantly contorted, and when he turned around to look for the youth in green, he had completely vanished. The guard glanced at his information and mumbled, Zirhu Jain, a member of the Zirhu family from Fufeng City. He should already have an identity card, right? But well, forget it. Maybe the young master of that family went out to play. Enter. A short, nimble old man with an annoyed expression worked forward, his mouth constantly mumbling. Teleportation from the Blood God Palace is so expensive, and they still want to let me hitch a ride. Respecting elders and cherishing the young is a virtue of the heavenly martial world, but these young people today don't know any manners. This old man was precisely the person who had wanted to travel with Live and earlier. He scanned his identity card. He continued to ramble. The guard vaguely overheard him talking about being old but not being allowed to rest, while others rested and he had to keep working. It is outrageous. I don't know when the new palace lord we arrive. The guard thought it sounded peculiar. The crystal record displayed, member of the Death God Palace, Death God Palace Elder Wu. Passing through the teleportation gate led into Honingite City, which was as bustling as a painting. Carriages were plentiful, and people gathered like a fair, especially filled with young faces. Live Antiu had no impression of the Qin family's second miss, based on her age. When he had last visited, she was still a newborn baby. However, this martial arts competition to select a son, or proved that she belonged to the direct lineage of the Qin family. Peach blossom wine is a specialty of Honingite City. Only the city lord's mansion has the authentic version, where drinking 1 cup can compensate for a month of cultivation. Outside the shop, dozens of jars of wine were displayed, the rich aroma spreading far and wide. The servant smiled brightly when he saw him. Man, this wine is brewed from 100 miles of peach blossoms south of the city. It is not just delicious, it is also refreshing. For an occasion like this festival, trying peach blossom wine is a must. Live Antiu smelled the wine, and a wave of memory suddenly stirred in his heart. A hint of loneliness flashed in his eyes as he lightly sighed. Peach blossom wine. Well then, I'll go meet an old friend. Get me 2 jars first. Yes, sir. It is clear from looking at you that you are a connoisseur. You're young, but you know how to choose good merchandise. Drinking our peach blossom wine guarantees immediate good romantic luck. Honingite City has clear regulations that outsiders are not allowed to fly in the sky without permission. The sea itself spans thousands of miles. Outsider martial artists usually use slow, flying compass vehicles. To operate one, they must have a temporary identity card so the city can control all the movements. Live Antiu bought one and flew towards a certain direction. In only the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, he arrived at a remote corner. Leaving the bustling and prosperous part of Honingite City, the surroundings suddenly became quiet. Mountains and rivers stretched all around, faintly resembling a peach blossom paradise separated from the mortal world. Live Antiu lightly recited the lines. Last year on the same day at this gate, the person's face complimented the peach blossoms. Today the person cannot be seen, only the peach blossoms still smile at the spring breeze. He then approached a peach tree and leisurely sat down, his gaze distant. He took out 2 jars of peach blossom scented wine, drank alone, and sighed. This name doesn't sound right to me. I think drunken sorrow forgetfulness would be more fitting, he said, lifting a jar to drink. The more he drank, the emptier he felt inside. Kid, you're sitting in my spot. The voice suddenly rang out from above. The person hadn't even appeared, but the palm force descended like a storm, its dense momentum locking down the entire space. Lai Yunxiao sighed and transformed his body into a flash of lightning, forcing the attack to miss. The palm force struck the lake, instantly shooting up a column of water hundreds of meters high, like a rising dragon. As water poured down like light rain, a beautiful woman wearing palace robes appeared in mid-air, hovering beside the lake. Her face was icy cold, her eyes flashed with cold light, and her hands formed seals, preparing to launch another move. Lai Yunxiao gently extended his hand, and a falling leaf flew from afar, settling neatly in his palm. He raised the leaf, gently brought it to his lips, and blew. A melodious sound, resonating with his breath through the vibrating leaf, spread in the gentle breeze under the peach blossoms, like a bird skimming water or an oriole singing. The beautiful woman's eyes, originally full of killing intent, gradually softened, melted by the melody and the peach blossoms. She stood still and listened, and both were silent. A faint sound drifted on the wind, the surrounding scenery blending with the sound, creating a feeling that was both cold and serene. The one playing seemed to be lamenting, while the one listening seemed captivated. After a long while, the melody ended, leaving only the sound of wind and rain, along with the soft patter of falling blossoms. Lai Yunxiao gently flicked his hand. The leaf flew away on the wind. He raised the one jar. He stepped toward the beautiful woman, his voice light as the wind. Come here, let us drink a few cups together to cheer up, okay?